Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की
जय।
बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
हरे कृष्णा निशा कैसे हो?
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्णा।
एकादशी कर रहे हो आज निशा? ऐसे कल भी है।
हाँ, वो दूसरी करते हैं ना अपन ऐसे भी।
राइट आई मीन या आज भी है और कल भी है।
कल भी, हाँ, वो सेकेंड डे वाली करते हैं।
राइट तो कल कर रहे हो? नेक्स्ट
पर फरियाद लेती हूँ।
हाँ आई नो, वो तो ठीक है।
निर्जला है बट
राइट सभी कुछ होता है, तन मन धन, मन से भी हो तो
हाँ, और क्या।
या तो शुरू करते हैं। तो लास्ट वीक हम लोग so last week we were reading we started 8th स्कंद, राइट? हमने 8वां कैंटो शुरू किया। हरे कृष्णा रीना जी।
हरे कृष्णा भैया, हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्णा।
So we started Canto 8 last week and completed अध्याय 2, right? And 8वें कैंटो में, just to quickly recollect, सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी को परीक्षित महाराज सब मनुवंतर के बारे में बताने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, राइट? सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी ने काफी पहले फर्स्ट मनु के बारे में डिस्क्राइब किया हुआ है। और सबसे पहले मनु का क्या नाम है? श्वाम्भू मनु, या सो श्वाम्भू ब्रह्मा जी को बोलते हैं, लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा, एंड श्वाम्भू मनु इज द फर्स्ट मनु हु इज सन ऑफ नोन अदर देन लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा हिमसेल्फ, या तो फर्स्ट मनु थे। श्वाम्भू मनु के बारे में काफी कुछ बताया गया है। हमने उनकी डॉटर्स देवहूति के बारे में पढ़ा, आकुति के बारे में पढ़ा, उनके सन प्रियव्रत एंड उत्तानपद के बारे में, उत्तानपद जिनके सन थे ध्रुव महाराज, राइट? सो वी रेड अबाउट ऑल दैट एंड देन बता रहे हैं स्वारुचिसा इज द सेकेंड मनु, उत्तम थर्ड मनु है। जब तामसा मनु फोर्थ मनु के बारे में बता रहे हैं, उस वक्त गजेंद्र मोक्ष की बात सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी करते हैं। एंड देन परीक्षित महाराज वांट्स टू नो मोर अबाउट गजेंद्र मोक्ष, एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी आर रीडिंग। लास्ट अध्याय में हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे कि कैसे द किंग ऑफ द एलिफेंट्स गजेंद्र, he goes into this lake and the lake was so beautifully described, right? If you remember the Trikut mountain and all the rivers and everything was so beautifully described. And so Gajendra with all the elephants goes to take a bath in the in that river, and then a Magarmach crocodile catches his leg, and they fought for how many years? Do you remember how many years they were fighting for, back and forth?
1000.
1000, right? It was mentioned that for Sahastra, 1000 years, the Gajendra Moksha and the crocodile trying to pull the leg, and Gajendra was trying to come out. And then what happens at the end is the king of the elephant, he becomes weaker because he is not the animal for the water. And at that point in time, he tries to remember, right? In his previous birth, he had something, we'll read, and that's what he tries to remember. So, but that's what we are reading right now about Gajendra Moksha. Yeah. So when you start the shlok 1, Anilji.
Sri Badrayani Ruvacha Evam Vepasito Buddhaya Samadhai Manohradi Jajap Paramam Japyam Prag Janmanyu Nishikshitam. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued. Thereafter, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra which he had learned in his previous birth as Indradyumnan and which he remembered by the grace of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Badrayani, Sri Badrayani ji is also, Sukdev Goswami ji is also referred as Sri Badrayani. Yeah. And is mentioned that Gajendra says Buddha Samadhai Manoridhi. Yeah, he fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra. And this, as mentioned here, he was a Indruman. He was a King Indruman in his previous birth. For some reason, he had taken this birth as an elephant, right? But he remembered that by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna. Is what is being mentioned here. The second shlok, Rajeshri.
Sri Gajendra Uvach Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yat Etachidatmakam Purushaya Dibijaya Pareshaya Bhidhimahi. The king of elephant, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Person, Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted person as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him.
Hare Krishna, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So the Gajendra, king of the elephant, he remembers, yeah, and he of course prays the obeisance, says Om Namo Bhagavate. And you know what is mentioned here is he remembers that because of him, his material body acts due to the presence of spirit. Yeah. And he is therefore the root cause of everyone. Says here, Purushaya di Bijaya. Yeah, he is the root cause of everything. Yeah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the root cause of everything. And he says here, Paresha Aya Abhi Dhimahi. So then he starts meditating upon Lord Sri Krishna. This is what is mentioned. Anisha.
Yasmin idam yataschedam enedam ya idam swayam yoasmata parasmacha parastam prapadde swayam bhuvam. The Supreme Godhead is the supreme platform on which everything rests, the ingredient by which everything has been produced, and the person who has created and is the only cause of the cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, he is different from the cause and the result. I surrender unto him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is self-sufficient in everything. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who is saying all this?
Gajendra.
Right? Gajendra, the king of elephant, he's remembering, he's focused his mind onto his heart and he's remembering the prayers which from his last birth, right? And he's praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He mentioned the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is self-sufficient in everything. It says here, Shram Bhuvam. Yeah. Rinaji?
Yes, Swatmanidam Nijamaya Kwachid Vibhatam Kwacha Tata Tirohitam Avidya Drik Sakshu Bhayam Tadikshate Sa Atma Mulo Avatu Mam Paratparaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by expending his own energy, keeps this cosmic manifestation visible and again sometimes renders it invisible. He is both the supreme cause and the supreme result, the observer and the witness in all circumstances. Thus, he is transcendental to everything. May that supreme personality of Godhead give me protection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So Gajendra is, this is how he's remembering Lord Shri Krishna. Right? Says here the supreme personality of Godhead has multi-potencies. Parasha Shakti Vivideva Sriyate. Therefore, as soon as he likes, he uses one of his potencies, and by that expansion, he creates the cosmic manifestation. Again, when the cosmic manifestation is annihilated, it rests in him. Nonetheless, he is infallibly the supreme observer. Under any circumstances, the Supreme Lord is changeless. He is simply a witness and is aloof from all creation.
All creation.
So he does it, but he is still aloof from all this. Yeah. Kalena panchatatvamitesu kritishnasho lokeshu paleshu cha sarvahetushu tamastadasid gahanam gambhiram yasatasya pare abhivirajate vibhuha. In due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestations of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated, there is a situation of dense darkness. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of his lotus feet. So that's how the King Gajendra is remembering Lord Sri Krishna, right? And he is, glorifying Supreme Personality of Godhead this way. Very nice purpose. So let's read this, Anilji.
From the Vedic mantras, we understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above everything. He is supreme above all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. He is the supreme controller. When everything disappears by the influence of his energy, the cosmic situation is one of dense darkness. The Supreme Lord, however, in the sunshine, as confirmed in the Vedic mantras, Aditya Varnam Tamasha Parastat. In our daily experience, when we are on earth or in the darkness of night, the sun is always luminous, somewhere in the sky. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Sun, always remains luminous, even when the entire cosmic manifestation is annihilated in due course of time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and we know that this whole creation and annihilation, right? As we know, this we are reading about the fourth Manu's tenor right now. Yeah. And how many Manus are there in one day of Lord Brahma?
14.
14 Manus, right? In one day, 1,032 million years is one day of Lord Brahma. There are 14 Manus. So what happens is, and each Manu, there are 71 Yug cycles. Each Yug cycle is 4 Yugas, right? Kali Yug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Satyug, like that. So after each Yug cycle, there is some annihilation happens. But after one day of Lord Brahma, there is a big annihilation, right? Similarly, after Manvantara, there is a annihilation. So like that, there is a creation and annihilation is continuous process, right? And what is being mentioned is that even when all those things happen, the cosmic manifestation, right, is gone, still the Supreme Sun, Lord Sri Krishna, always remains luminous. Yeah, is what is mentioned. Nisha?
न यस्य देवा ऋषयः पदं विदुर्जन्तुः पुनः कोऽर्हति गन्तुमिरितुं यथा नटस्याकृतिर्विचेष्टतो दूरत्या अनुक्रमणः समावतु. The artist on stage being covered by attractive dress and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods nor sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words his actual position. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So even the Devatas, right? Neither the demigods and the sages, no one can understand the Supreme Lord. And Gajendra is requesting him to provide the protection.
Yes.
Yeah, it says here like a similar understanding was expressed by Kunti Devi. Yeah. The Supreme Lord exists everywhere, within and without. He even exists within our heart. Sarvasya chaham ridhi sanivishto Tvashvara sarva bhutanam rideshe arjun tishtati. Yeah, this is what thus it is indicated that one can find the Supreme Lord within one's heart. Yeah, and if you remember, we also read the prayers of Kunti Maharani, yeah, the mother of all the Pandus, to Sri Lord Sri Krishna, and that's where she mentions this. And actually, let's read this purport, Rajashriji.
For them, he is impossible to understand. Therefore, we must accept the statements given by the Supreme when he kindly incarnate to instruct us. We must simply accept the word of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in their footsteps. Then it may be possible for us to know the purpose of their incarnations. Janma karma का मैं दिव्यम इवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहान् पुनर्जन्म नयति मम एति सो रुजना yagna. If by the Lord's grace one can understand him, one will immediately be delivered. Even within his material body, the material body will no longer have any function, and whatever activities take place with the body will be activities of Krishna consciousness. In this way, one may give up his body and return home and back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so few important things mentioned here is, one is he kindly incarnates to instruct us, right? So time and again we have seen that Lord Vishnu, right? He comes in different forms, right? Narsingh Bhagwan, Lord Ram, right? So like that. So he takes incarnations. But what is being mentioned is that we should only listen to the instructions given by the Supreme Lord himself, right? Like in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself instructs. And he is the primary Supreme Personality of Godhead, because a lot of people try to give so many philosophies and all that, right? Which is not really important. I think we need to understand what Lord is saying himself. And if we can do that, if we can understand that, then what happens? Lord Sri Krishna himself is telling this to Arjun in Bhagavad Gita, that neti mam iti so Arjuna, like he comes back to me. Yeah. Tyakta deham punarjanma. He doesn't take punarjanam in this materialistic world. He comes back to the spiritual world, right? Rinaji?
दिदृक्षवो यस्य पदं सुमंगलं विमुक्त संगा मुनयः सुसाधवः चरन्त्य लोकव्रत वर्णं वने भूतात्म भूता सहृदय समे गतिः. Ancients and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, Vanprastha and Sannyas desire to see the all-auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destiny.
Hare Krishna. So what Gajendra is praying is that in the forest, as we know, a lot of sadhu sants, right? The brahmacharis, the vanprasthis, the sannyasis, they all go and do austerities and prayers to see who? all auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It says here, Vimukta Sangha Muniya hai Susadva hai. Yeah, Charanatya Lokvrit Amranam Vane. Yeah, in the forests they go into tapasya. That Supreme Personality of Godhead can protect me. Yeah, is what King of Elephants Gajendra is praying. Anilji?
न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नाम रूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्य संभवाय यः स्वमायया तान्यनुकालमक्षति तस्मै नमः परेशाय ब्रह्मणे अनन्तशक्तये अरूपायोरुरूपाय नमः आश्चर्यकर्मणे. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or false. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Ram or Lord Krishna. By his original internal potency, he has immense potency, and in various forms, all free from material contamination, he acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he continues the glorification. Yeah, he says, Tasmai Namah Parishaya Brahmane Ananta Shakti. Yeah, he is Arupayo Rupaya Namah Ascharya Karne. Yeah, Na Nam Rupe Gunadoshiva. So like this, he is continuously glorifying the Lord. Very nice purport. So let's read this. Anisha.
In the Vishnu Puran, it is said, Gunams cha dosham cha mune vyatita samasta kalyana gunamakohi. Gunatmakohi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material form, qualities, or faults. He is spiritual and is only a reservoir of all spiritual qualities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.8 by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paritranaya Sadhunamam Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, the Lord's activities of saving the devotees and annihilating the demons are transcendental. Anyone annihilated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead gets the same result as a devotee who is protected by the Lord. Both of them are transcendentally promoted. The only difference is that a devotee goes directly to the spiritual planets and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord, whereas demons are promoted to Brahmalok, the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Both of them, however, are transcendentally promoted. The Lord's killing or annihilating of the demons is not exactly like the killing of the material world. Although he appears to act within the modes of material nature, he is nirguna, above the modes of nature. His name is not material. Otherwise, how could one get liberation by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama? The names of the Lord, like Ram and Krishna, are not non-different from the persons Ram and Krishna. Thus, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one constantly associates with Ram and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore becomes liberated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so couple of important things mentioned here are, like, even when we have seen, right, how the Lord kills, like Lord Ram kills Ravan, Lord Krishna kills Shishupal and all that. What is mentioned is, even when he kills them, it's not like a materialistic killing, right? Even they go to the Brahmalok, right? Like we read about how Shishupal got merged into Lord Krishna's body, right? In the last ISKCON, we are reading that. And then that's how Sukdev Goswami explains everything. But the devotees, right? The devotees go directly to the spiritual planets and become the associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the difference which is being mentioned. Also, what is mentioned is the names of the Lord is no different than Lord himself. Yeah, because the Supreme Personality of God is absolute. Yeah, the God is absolute. So his name, his structure, everything is one, which is not like us, right? We have a different name, different body and all. So there's a relativity everywhere, but God is absolute, is what is mentioned, right? The names of the Lord, like Ram and Krishna, none different from person Ram and Krishna. Yeah. Rajasri?
Thus, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one constantly associates with Rama and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore becomes liberated. A practical example is Ajmila, who always remained transcendental to his activities simply by chanting the name Narayana. If this was true of Ajamila, what is to be said of the Supreme Lord? When the Lord comes to this material world, he does not become a product of matter. This is confirmed throughout Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam avajanmati mana mudah manushyati tanum asritam. Therefore, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rama or Krishna, descends to act transcendentally for our benefit, we should not consider him an ordinary human being. When the Lord comes, he does so on the basis of his spiritual potency. Sambhavama Atma Maya, because he is not forced to come by the material energy, he is always transcendental. One should not consider the Supreme Lord on an ordinary human being. Material names and forms are contaminated, but spiritual names and spiritual forms are transcendental. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, the spiritual name is also transcendental being mentioned. And that's why when we do chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, you associate with the Lord directly by
him. Yes.
And that's why in the beginning also see, also we chant it in the voice of Srila Prabhupada himself, right? So we chant along with that. So it's really nice. Yeah. Rinaji?
नम आत्म प्रदीपाय साक्षिणे परमात्मने नमो गिरां विदुराय मनसश्चरेत सामपि. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Super Soul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So
Hare
Gajendra
Krishna.
continues to glorify Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Says Atma Pradipaya. Yeah. He's the self-effulgent Super Soul. And Sakshine Paramatmane. He's the witness in everyone's heart. Yeah. As we know, we studied about it, right? So we have this Sthul Sharir. Then internally we have Suksham Sharir. Then we have soul, and then we have the super soul, right? The super soul is Lord Vishnu, right? That's how we are associated with Lord Vishnu. So he is the witness in everyone's heart. Yeah, he enlightens the individual soul, Atma Pradipaya, right? And of course, he cannot be reached by the exercises of mind, words, and consciousness. So they try to think, right? That, oh, this is how the Lord is, and it's all beyond everyone's comprehension, is what is mentioned, right? What we read about Lord is what is given by Lord himself, like in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Satvena pratillabhyaya nesha karmena vipakshita namah kevalyanathaya nirvana sukha samvide. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto him. Yeah. So Gajendra continues to glorify, and he says here, Satvena Pratilabhyaya, right? And Namah Kevalyanathaya, he says that he is realized by pure devotees who are doing the Bhakti Yoga. And how do we do the Bhakti Yoga? What are different ways we can do the bhakti?
By chanting, archana, puja.
Yeah.
There are 9 different ways which is mentioned in the Shastras, right? Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Sakhyam, Dashyam, Atmanivedanam, right? So there are so many different 9 ways of doing the devotional service. And of course, he gives us Nirvana Sukha Samvide. Yeah, he is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness. Satchit Anand. He is, of course, the master of the transcendental world. And this is how Gajendra is remembering and glorifying Lord Vishnu, right? And he offers his respect to Lord Shri Vishnu, right? Anilji?
नमो शांताय घोराय मूढ़ाय गुणधर्मिणे निर्विशेषाय साम्याय नमो ज्ञानधनाय च. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudev, who is all-pervading, to the Lord's fierce form as Lord Nrsimhadev, to the Lord's form as an animal, Lord Barahadev, to Lord Dattatreya, who preached impersonalism, Lord Buddha, and to all the other incarnations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has no material qualities, but who accepts the 3 qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the impersonal Brahman effulgences. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this is how Gajendra continues to glorify Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Rajeshri?
Kshetragyaaya namastubhyam sarvadhakshaya sakshine purushayatma mulaya mula prakrutaye namaha. I beg to offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who are the super soul, the superintendent of everything, and the witness of all the occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the Supreme Complete. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So again, this is how he's glorifying, right? Kshetragyaya namastubhyam. Yeah. He's doing the respectful obeisances unto Lord Shri Krishna, who is Sarvadhyakshaya. Yeah. Sarvadhyakshaya and Sakshine. He is the witness of everything which happens. And he is the origin of material nature. Says here, Purush, yeah, Atma Mulaya, yeah, and he is Mula Prakriti, and then Namaha. So he offers the respectful obeisances. Isha?
सर्वेन्द्रिय गुणद्रष्टे सर्व प्रत्यय हेतवे असताश्चाय योक्ताय सदा भासाय ते नमः. My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rinaji?
नमो नमस्ते अखिल कारणाय निष्कारणाय अद्भुत कारणाय सर्वागमानां ह्ययम् आहारणवाय नमो अपवर्गाय परायणाय. My Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras, like the Pancharatras and Vedanta Sutra, which are young representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So see how the prayer goes, right? Says Namo Namaste, right? Is doing the respectful obeisances to whom? He is Akhil Karanaya, cause of everything. He is wonderful cause of everything. He is the shelter of the Vedic knowledge. Says then also Niskaranaya, Adutva Karanaya, Sarvag Mamanaya, Mahavarnaya, and Namo Upvargaya Parayanaya. Yeah, this is how he's praying. Says Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like Panchatatras and Vedanta Sutra, of which are your representations and who are the source of the Parampara system. And then it is you who can give liberation. You are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Right? This is how Lord, the king of all the elephants, Gajendra, is glorifying Lord Sri Krishna. Very nice purport. So let's read this. Anilji.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described herein as the wonderful cause. He is wonderful in the sense that although there may be unlimited emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janmade Asya Yata, he always remains complete. Punyasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Ivasisyate. In our experience in the material world, if we have a bank balance of $1 million, as we withdraw money from the bank, the balance gradually diminishes until it becomes nil. However, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is so complete that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him, he remains the same, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Punasya Purnanam Adya Purnam Ivavasyasate. Therefore, he is the wonderful cause, Govindam Adipurusham Tam Adam Tam Aham Bhajami. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanayam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what is mentioned here is he has the unlimited emanations, right? And he's unlimited. And we have all heard this, right? Purnasya Purnamida Purnameva Vasishyate, which means you subtract completeness from completeness, and what is remaining? Yeah, you subtract Purna from Purna, what is remaining is also Purna, right? Purnam Adaya Purnameva Vasishyate, what is remaining is also complete. So he's always complete is what is being mentioned. And then of course in the Brahma Samhita, and what is Brahma Samhita? Who spoke Brahma Samhita?
Lord Brahma prayer to Lord Vishnu.
Right, yeah, this is in Brahma Samhita. There is a prayer of Lord Purushottam, right? Govinda, by Lord Brahma himself. Yeah, and that's where the first shlok of the Brahma Samhita is Ishwar Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karanam. Lord Brahmaji is saying that Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. Yeah. First of all, who is the Ishwar? Parama Krishna. He is Sachidananda Vigraha. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body, right? And then Anadir Adir Govinda. So Anadi means he is the origin of all, and he has no other origin. So Adi is the original, like he's the original. And then Anadi means there is no one before him. That's the Govinda. And then he's, of course, Sarva Karanam. That's how the prayer is started of Lord Brahmaji. And then there are almost 50 shloks like this. And that is just the first chapter of Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita has almost 100 adhyas, right? But what we have just seen is the first chapter where Lord Brahmaji is praying to Lord Shri Krishna. And this is just the first shloka. So that's how Lord Shri Krishna is described. Rajasriji?
Even in this material world, we can understand that the sun has existed for millions of years and has given off heat and light since its creation. Yet the sun still retains its power and never changes. What then it is to be said of the supreme cause, Param Brahma Krishna? Everything emanates from him perpetually, yet he maintains his original form, Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna personally says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Mata Sarvam Pravartate. Everything emanates from me, everything emanates from Krishna eternally. Yet he is the same Krishna and does not change. Therefore, he is the shelter of all transcendentals who are eager to get free from material bondage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, he is the shelter of all transcendentalists, people who are interested in spiritualism and bhakti yoga. Hare Krishna, Panther.
Hare Krishna.
Hmm?
Everyone must take shelter in Krishna. It is therefore advised, Akama Sarva Kamo Va Moksha Kama Udara Di Tivarna Bhakti Yogena Vajeta Purusham Param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Bhagavad 2.3.10. Param Brahma, the Supreme Lord, and Param Dhamma, the Supreme Repose, is Krishna. Therefore, anyone who desires anything, whether he be a karmi, a jnani, or a yogi, should try to perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead very seriously, and all of his desires will be fulfilled. The Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tavit tathav bhajamai aham. As the living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Even the karmi who wants everything for his enjoyment can get it from Krishna. For Krishna, supplying what he wants is not at all difficult. Actually, however, one should worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the sake of getting liberation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Misha?
Sarvera aham eva vedayah. By studying the Vedic literature, one should understand Krishna. As confirmed here, Sarvagamanaya Maharavanaya is the ocean and all Vedic knowledge flows toward him. Therefore, intelligent transcendentalists take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarva Dharmana Paritayajaya Mama Ekam Saranamam Raja. This is the ultimate goal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, as we have read, Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vijaya. Lord Sri Krishna himself is giving this message to everyone that take shelter of me, the Lord Sri Krishna, right? I think we are going to pause here since it's already almost about time. And we'll continue reading about Gajendra's prayers tomorrow, and then we'll also hear the Gajendra Stotram fully. Today, because it's a Nirjala Ekadashi, we'll hear a simple bhajan for Nirjala Ekadashi around 4 to 5 minutes. Okay.
निर्जला एकादशी का पर्व महान, हरि भक्ति का पावन विधान, भीमसेन की कथा से प्रेरित निर्जला व्रत का है विशेष विधान। संकट हरने वाला यह व्रत पुण्य फल का देता है अनंत। जल ना पी कर करे उपवास, प्रभु विष्णु का करे निवास। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। निर्जला एकादशी की महिमा परंपार, सभी दुख हरती है ये त्योहार। भक्तों के जीवन में लाती है उजास, हरि नाम का हो जप निरंतर प्रयास। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। विष्णु की आराधना में लीन हो, निर्जला व्रत का महत्व जानो। भवसागर से पार करे, हरि कृपा से सब कष्ट हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। निर्जला एकादशी की महिमा परंपार, सभी दुख हरती है ये त्योहार। भक्तों के जीवन में लाती है उजास, हरि नाम का हो जप निरंतर प्रयास। विष्णु की आराधना में लीन हो, निर्जला व्रत का महत्व जानो। भवसागर से पार करे, हरि कृपा से सब कष्ट हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। निर्जला एकादशी का व्रत पालन करे, हरि चरणों में अपना मन धरे। भक्ति भाव से जो इसे निभाए, वह निश्चय ही मोक्ष को पाए। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरि नाम का सुमिरन करे, निर्जला व्रत का पुण्य धरे। सभी पापों से मुक्ति पाए, हरि भक्ति में जीवन बिताए। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। उत्तम यह व्रत, उत्तम यह दिन।
All right, so just a nice clip about Nirjala Ekadashi. And as you know, right, with how Bhim and how the Nirjala Ekadashi started, so it's really auspicious day, and it's so nice for everyone to come together and read Srimad Bhagavatam on such an auspicious day. Continue this tomorrow, yeah, and we'll also hear the Gajendra Moksha Stotam tomorrow as well. Right, Hare Krishna, see you
Hare
tomorrow.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.